Hello, everybody, and welcome to my quant qualitative video. I get these two words a little bit mixed up. So, qualitative data is when the data is non-numeric. So here we have a data set consisting of 50 blood types, and what we'd like to do is in chapter 2, you talked about and you learned about how to summarize the data set into either a relative frequency table or a frequency table. So rather than manually sitting down and computing these things, it's always best to use technology. So I would like to show you a wonderful program that you are going to use, and it makes things very nice. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Uh, this is just for categorical data. So if you hear me use the word categorical, that's what I grew up with. That's the same thing as the non-numeric or the qualitative data set. So when you have a data set and a table and stuff like this, and you see this little icon over here, if you just click that icon, you can use this button right here, StatCrunch. Now, when you signed up and paid for, or soon to pay for, your account with MyMathLab, you have access to this. So I have it set up in the homeworks and for the quizzes that whenever you see a data set and StatCrunch is needed, you just click that little thing right there. So one of the things that you're asked to do is to create a table. So with this type of a data set, it's a little bit different than the numeric, and that's another video. We could go ahead and just come over here to stat. There's these various buttons. We're not going to use very many of these buttons, but just come over here to stat and then tables and then frequency table. So if you come over here, you got to tell what data. So we want that column. And then there's a lot of other stuff in here. It's other stuff. I'm not going to mess around with a lot of it, but notice right here we have frequency and relative frequency. So I'm going to choose frequency and just come over here and click compute, and boom, there is your table. So all you have to do is come back to your homework over here, and you kind of got to play the window game here with this stuff. But anyways, you just do this, put your information in there, and then go on to the next component. So the next thing is it wants a relative frequency, so we'll do the same thing. Choose our variable, come over here to relative frequency, click compute, and here it is in its grand and glory. So again, all you do is slide this over, and notice right here are the frequencies, and right here we'll go ahead and type those in. Now, it's not my intention to do the homework problem, it's just to show you how to use StatCrunch to do these various things. So the next thing is that you learned in chapter 2 regarding this type of data is how to construct a bar chart and a pie chart. So if you come over here, obviously graphs, we'll come over here to bar chart, and it's with data. So we'll choose our variable, and then over here, again, other stuff, except right here under the type. I'm going to choose frequency, and I'll do another one, and we'll choose the relative frequency, because I think this particular thing asks for both. So let's go ahead, and boom, there's our table. Man, you can't beat that. Graph, bar chart with the data, the variable. Now I'll come down here and choose relative frequency. And one of the things I kind of wanted to point out that I do believe the author discusses is that if we take a look at the quote unquote shape, notice that these things are pretty much the same. Notice this is our frequency, this is our relative frequency, which is the percents of how often that these things occur. So if we just come over here, again, back to our homework problem here, we have to choose the frequency bar graph. So you just come over here and best match. In this case, it was the letter C. So another thing that you can do to help you view these graphs is there's these little pop-outs over here. And if you choose this one, you can pop out this thing and make it a little bigger, and it helps to see a little bit and get a better idea about what's going on so when you make your choice. So, and this one here is for the relative frequency. So again, you can take this, pop it out, bring it over a little bit. These things are kind of pinned to windows. but just come over here to this guy, scoot it over a little bit, and then just, just kind of line them up. See which one, a little bit bigger than 0.3 and so forth. Okay. So that is that one. So our last one then would be to create a pie chart. And again, depending on the type of pie chart you are asked to do, all right, notice that these things are right here. So come over here, graph, pie chart. Oops. Scoot it over a little bit with data. And again, choose the variable. Come down here, count or percent of count. Again, these will look exactly the same. It's just one is going to have a legend over here with the counts. And if we go graph, bar, pie chart data, and then come over here to the percent. And again, you can get the, oops, see, we always make, it's not uncommon to do that. Forget to choose the variable. And notice that these things are exactly the same. All right, it's just one is you're reporting back as percentages and the other one as counts. All right, so that's my video on how to quickly summarize a qualitative data set or a categorical data set. Everything you learned in section 2.1 of the textbook. Adios.